Hi, Alex. How you doing today?
Hey, doing great over here.
Good. Got that
It's
mermaid energy going on.
I know it's all Olympian crystal.
The bubbly crystal.
It's bubbly crystal energy. Yep. I've been pulling it into my fields, putting it around my field for the last couple days. So it's
Well,
interesting that you're
it
you're
feels,
sensing it.
yeah, it's there. It's definitely there, or taking you there, or bringing you here, or all at once.
Let's go multidimensional, definitely.
It's all at once because I mean, that's more appropriate. That's what's really going on.
That's true. That is very true. I mean, what if we just imagine a world where we had all the sight of all the worlds happening at once, right? No.
Yeah, yeah. So we had a little experience last night, and I shared something about the moose. And you contacted me and said, What'd you say? Something
That
about
this is really powerful. I'm like, what
mm,
your story is really powerful, and it would be really amazing to get it out there to others. And I was hoping to support in that because we were also having moose experiences for the last week up where we live. And
well, that's why it came out because you were talking about how you had this you saw this baby moose,
that
right?
little, like, teeny baby moose, like, it's so small. Like, at first we thought it was a fawn, and then you saw like the nose, which is a little bit browner, and it was all alone in this beautiful green meadow, and just, kind of wiggling the ears a little bit. And it was just so sweet. And I think that was, it's just so special to see them super young like that. And without the mama, we didn't know where the mama was for probably about 15, 20 minutes. And we realized it was just a little bit farther away on the neighbor's property. Um, but just and the mother was like immediately attentive. Once that moose stood up and started moving, it was like in strides, just it covers the ground so quickly, just striding, walking, that it was just like right up next to the baby moose right away.
Mm.
And then they went away, and then they slept here. So we had moose energy within 20 feet of our bedroom all
Oh,
night.
wow.
And then in the morning they got up and started sauntering off to the, farther up the road. And now I think they left the area, but we went for a bike ride just down the road yesterday before we came. And there were literally moose tracks. So, like long strides, moose tracks in the dirt by the side of the road for probably like 200 yards. And the sound, the town of Eldora had these signs like, go slow, moose. So clearly they're all over and awake this season.
Yeah, and having babies. Yeah. Yay.
So
Yeah, and that reminded me of having an experience with moose. Years ago, I was pregnant with my second son and traveled with my first son. They're 15 months apart. So, and I traveled alone, with with pregnancy and carrying a baby. Um, so so my oldest was probably maybe I don't even know if he was 12 months yet. And I went to an island that is in the Baltic Sea that my friends have. It's been in their family. And we looked out the dining room window one day, and through the forest, we saw a mama moose and a baby moose. And it was very powerful, being
mm,
that I was pregnant with child. And then I also had another child with me. And the whole family just was so excited, the family that I was there visiting, because it doesn't happen all the time.
Well, I mean, was it like for the Baltic Sea? I mean, you do have other, you know, shoreline around you, but how long did it take you to get from the main shore to the island? Like, was it by boat? Was it
Yeah,
by
by boat. Yeah, by boat. Because
boat?
yeah, by boat, and it's a small island. There's at the time there was I don't know if there was 2 homes, 3 homes on the island. Um, but basically, yeah, by boat it would have taken, how long does it take by boat? I'm so just in the moment when I do this. If we just take a regular boat, that would take about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 20
That's
minutes.
a distance,
Yeah.
that's pretty far.
So, but there's other islands, it's the Baltic Sea and there's other islands. There's plenty of islands. And so that moose would have walked across the ice to, and then the ice melted, and then she had her baby there. I don't see her swimming across.
Not and pregnant. I mean,
I
so that
mean,
was the only two moose on the
yeah,
island.
they were the only two. Yeah, yeah, they were the only two. And at that time, we had to go walk to the other side of the island and get our water from the well. And so, the whole having to be kind of alert that there's a mama moose and a baby moose and not get in between them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different level of walking and awareness. And we have to do that a lot up here because we have a couple of aspen groves and they know where the aspen groves are, they know where they want to eat. Um, so I'm always like head on swivel. Like they have been literally like 10 feet away from the house, like just on the other side of the car. And their bodies, their haunches are like 6 feet, so they're actually above the car as they're walking by it. They are very big.
Yeah.
Um, and also just looking for tracks. I'm always looking for tracks, like, okay, what went through here? But I love that you are the mother. You are like fully in the mother energy. You are pregnant. You are in the creator energy too, right? You are creating life within your body, manifesting. You have your child, you are mothering as well. And here is this moose that's also a mother.
Yeah. That whole nature, natural setting, and then having the awareness of how she's tending
Mm,
and bravely and
yeah.
bravely and instinctively in this unknown territory, because they hadn't had a moose on the island. And if I remember correctly, I it's a long time.
Right.
If yeah.
Yeah, I mean 20 minutes, by boat,
Hmm.
right? And think about that. Like, people are, cruising along in a boat. That would take some time to walk. But and just dropping into it, the moose is like an apex animal
Mhm.
for sure. Like it will not tolerate things. Like it doesn't really give signs like, "Hey, I'm going to attack." It might like put its ears back and it might start walking towards you. That's about it. Right? It doesn't care. But for it to be that powerful and to be a mother is and to be, female.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
so lovely and organic, like an organic display. Like this is a true feminine. This is, a powerful feminine
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely divine.
Absolutely. The creator of life.
Mhm. Yeah. What I found, of course, I always look up what that animal means when something crosses my path, and in the significance of me being a mother and pregnant and ready to have that energy. I, of course, went and looked it up, and there's different cultures say different things. I don't know if you went down that route of.
I looked up one and I was kind of like, oh, this is so interesting. They're talking about its strength. And I'm like, I think, do you want me to read it?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah. Is it on a website online, or is it out of a book, or?
This is spirit animal info
Mhm.
from like they're making plaques people can put on their walls. So it's not necessarily a card. I don't know the nationality of it, which could be different, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Be very different. So
Yeah.
this one might be a little more generic. It says, the moose spirit brings noble pride, deep perceptions, and sensitivity. Moose are gentle giants. They remain calm most of the time. However, if provoked, they will show their courage and protective nature. Your spirit moose can help you conquer your fears and give you the confidence to achieve your goals. It reminds you to stay in the present rather than living in the past.
Beautiful. Wow. Wow. That's so good. I have to, what I think is interesting, because I have to keep the moose in mind, because the son who I was carrying, when he, as a descriptive for him as well, because when he was one summer in high school, I enrolled him in a um, I forget what group it was, but it was a mountaineering. It was up in Montana, and he did bouldering and mountain climbing and things like that. And they had one night where he did his all alone quest, and
Nice.
moose came to him. Yeah, moose came to him, and you can't ignore that.
No, no. So it physically came.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. He was sitting on a rock on his own, and moose came in, to his field.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I
Whew,
right. So he's one powerful
long.
being.
I was wondering, I'm like, what is this guy like?
He's tall. You can see him over a car. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. It's like 6'4", 6'5". So that moose, I loved how you said the quiet and knew when to speak, and they bugle, they call out, right? And the males do, the ones who want to be noticed, to say, "Hey, I'm ready to. I've got some feelings here."
Yeah, they are we had another mom and a yearling last
Mm,
summer. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, this was like probably the most crazy experience I've had with moose or with really, really large animals like that. Um, we it was with a mutual friend of ours, Astrid, and we had done a really powerful meditation and we went out and we went to the vortex and we saw we saw a moose out that way and we're able to move around it and watch it. So it departed. I mean, this is like a 15-minute walk from our house. Then we went to the vortex and with the trees, and it was really, really powerful. And so we were just in that and experiencing the energy moving through us and that toroidal kind of field experience. And so we're really high energetically. And then we walked down the path just on our own energy. We walked down the path in the forest because I was like, oh, we have to go to this aspen grove. It has these amazing yellow flowers that are also, it's a bed of huge yellow flowers in the aspen, which is just phenomenal. And we get down there and we're looking ahead, and I kid you not, there's like a full on bull moose that is there. So we go off trail up above and around him, and we're like, okay, everything's good, he's not coming after us, okay, woo, like woo, like that was really close. And we made it. And so we walk another 10 minutes, so we're coming back, we're looping back up towards the house, and I kid you not, there's another full on mom and yearling that were moving towards us, towards the direction of the bull moose. And we're backing up into, like, we're on the side of a person's fence in their backyard. And the guy, like, literally comes out and I'm like, hi, I'm your neighbor. There's a big moose up there. Just like, we will just stay here, we might come to around your house, or into your yard if it's necessary, if they come towards us, like, or we'll just wait till they pass. But it was probably 5 minutes of them slowly walking by. And
Yeah.
oh, and we just got back up to the house after that. It just slowly walked by. And yeah, I mean, it was a combination of feeling like, wow, man, I am such a small human, right? And really sensing their largeness,
Yeah.
their gigantic form. Just going, all right, I'm just going to let you do your business
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah. The power in their presence alone.
Yes, they are completely just radiating that intense power.
Mhm. Well, I thought it was interesting because I don't know where my one animal book is. The Animal Speaks. I think maybe I lent it to someone because I don't have it on my bookshelf, or it's still in a box or something. But I do have my I always use my medicine cards quite a bit. I have had this forever.
They're great.
You have this one too?
I had it a long time ago, and I think I don't know where it went.
Yeah,
Somewhere in Hawaii, I lost it.
yeah. So this one, it speaks of moose, it's as self-esteem.
Oh,
And the beginning of it, and this is I showed the book without saying, this is Jamie Sams and David Carson's book on medicine cards, the discovery of power through the ways of animals. And the moose helps me to honor the gifts I can give and recognize my worthiness long as I live. Yeah, it's such a beautiful opening. And I am going to read some of this if you don't mind.
please.
Okay, it says moose is found in the north of the medicine wheel, as is buffalo. And I kept seeing buffalo as you were talking. Yeah, I kept seeing buffalo because I think there was some meme or clip or something where these people were walking, I'm assuming Wyoming. And there was a buffalo, and the person literally put their hand out,
Mm-hmm.
and the buffalo charged.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yearly. It's
Yeah,
yearly.
it's like, this is reality check 101. Do not pet the wild animals.
Uh, have to pet the fluffy cows. That's what Isabel just came in with that shirt on. Don't pet the fluffy cows, which are the buffalo.
Oh, that's so good. She
So
must have
synchronicity.
she picked it up in Wyoming.
Yes, she picked it up in Wyoming and just happened to have it on today.
That is so great. Love it. So it says self-esteem. So North represents the place of wisdom. Self-esteem is the medicine of moose because it represents the power of recognizing that wisdom has been used in a situation and that recognition or a pat on the back is deserved.
Oh.
Moose is the largest member of the deer family. I forget
Mm.
all this. And has great strength. The call of the male moose is an awesome thing to hear on a musky, they always have to say musky spring night. What is the spring night musky?
I've never
Only if
thought of
you're
the
around
spring
a
night
moose.
as musky.
But living in Colorado, we know the elk movement and the moose movement and the all of that where traffic is stopped
Yep.
by their just beingness.
Yeah, and you start knowing, oh, these are their little spots that they cross the road in, keep an eye out. And
Yeah, yeah. And so moose, yeah. So the call, yeah, I read that. The musky spring night just kind of caught me. His pride in his maleness and his desire to share his seed with a moose cow are displayed by can be viewed as a positive force. Wait, displays of his sense of self-esteem. The bellow, did that make sense? Because I've read the wrong line. I'm going to read it again. His pride in his maleness and his desire to share his seed with the moose cow are displays of his sense of self-esteem. The bellow of a male moose can be viewed as a positive force since it represents his willingness to tell the world about his feelings.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's very praising and acknowledging of this essential masculine and feminine that come together to create, and
Yes.
being in the strength of that, and just,
Yes.
I am this, and we come
Yes.
together and we literally are creating life.
Yes.
Profound. I mean, we're going into, a cosmic, profound thing. I mean, it is physical. The baby is physical, but there is a profound union that
Mm-hmm.
occurs with having children, or even in conceiving, and also just, that inner trust of yourself, being a first time mom, and then having a baby on the way. Boy, hello hormones. And just going, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to deeply trust myself in this, and what is right for the kid, and what is right for me as a mom, because I think moms get really a hard rap. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of judgment that goes on with moms. So
Oh yeah.
seeing it out, like where it's just naturally happening, baby calf gets up, mama is right there striding. Like, we're talking covering ground, like nothing's gonna get in between her and that baby.
Yep.
Powerful to watch.
Yeah. I even think about because at some point that mama moose took the baby in the sea to another land.
Wow.
And it's very symbolic to how I
Yes.
was with my boys.
Ooh, share more. We've got this, like, yeah, very similar journey you're going across.
Yeah, I mean, even okay, I'm in the Baltic Sea. I'm pregnant in the Baltic Sea, but I'm also traveling to other lands over the seas, and that sense of nomadic safety family is where family is,
Yes.
and nurturing is found and discovered on the way.
Wild how like they came across, there's something mystical about how they crossed when there was ice, and then here they are on the island and the ice has melted. It's like there's something so mythical about that and magical about
Magical,
it.
yeah, magical for sure. It's
Do you feel like it was, I mean, like for your own personal journey,
mhm,
having that metaphor of you are crossing lands,
mhm,
magical transportation to other lands by having your second,
mhm,
your relationship with your second
mhm.
coming into your life, you are crossing and entering a new.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. A new. You
Mhm.
know, it doesn't even need a name to it. It's I keep getting the strong um, parts of me being in that ocean with
Mm.
him in my belly. Like, because every night was, do a sauna, go to the sea,
Oh,
do the
wow.
sauna, go to the sea. Like, two or three times go and get warm and then go and get cool and go and get warm and go and get cool. And the land, the water, and the trees were, the trees were so um the just being in Finland in those that whole setting is magical in itself because there's the fairy realms and there's the gnomes and the
Yeah, I have not gone to Finland, so I don't know the energy of that country, but each
Mm-mm.
country is very unique and it definitely can have very powerful energies within it. So
Yeah.
you are feeling like the
Yeah.
fairiness, which is interesting that I'm bringing forth this kind of mermaid
Yeah,
energy.
yeah, yeah, and the fae, yeah, the mermaid, the fae, that I kept getting all of that for you. It's just like, oh my God, there's things that are so uh relevant to this whole thing. You can't make
God,
this stuff up, the timing of how things are revealed and displayed, right? And
so beautiful. And it's so
synchronistic.
and how powerful. Like all my children I had in Hawaii. And so, they were by the sea. And my first child actually, it was a water birth. And it was actually very beautiful. It was intense, but it was not extreme pain because I was in the water the whole time, and it was a home birth. Um, and I was pregnant in the sea, and it was one of the most profound feelings that I had because the ocean has so much salt, it's so similar to our bodies, and then you're in the sea and it's undulating and you're undulating with it, and then there's also just the energetic quality of oneness. You put your hands in the water for me, and I feel so much more at peace. I just fully getting energy of oneness, and that type of deep profound calm while being pregnant is beautiful, being held and nurtured by the sea.
Yeah, and that weightlessness where you can float and to me it reminds me of the soul.
uh,
Yeah, where that's the oneness, right? Because it's just, oh.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, so good. I don't know how we got all over there, but I wanted to finish something here.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I wanted to get to, but I'm gonna keep reading
Okay.
on the moose, but I love that all these elementals
Mm.
are are here right
Okay,
now.
so the elementals, right? That's what needed to come in.
Yeah.
Spirit energy coming in through us, talking about nature, being in nature, and animals. The elementals coming in with that.
And the
Interesting.
tree beings, it's like all
Nice.
the vortex stuff that you're talking about and um wow. Yeah, they're here. They've got their popcorn.
They do. They'll just, I mean, it's not hard to call them or connect with
No.
them. It's not at all. They are there and they appreciate it. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. We are here.
Well, you were talking about you were in Hawaii having your children. You know, Japan is an island.
It,
Tokyo, the ocean is right there.
oh my gosh, it's right there.
And I always, people would say something and I'd be at dinners and I'd say, oh, any moment, Godzilla's going to come out of the bay, it's just, yeah,
Oh,
the
that's
ocean
great.
is there.
It's
And
right there. It's so close. I mean, all the towns and cities are just right on the edge because there's the big mountains. And,
yeah, I mean, they have Alps and all that, but
yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, the water was definitely there. And actually, when he was conceived, um, we were in, we went to Mendocino, and I think I was probably, um, because I can tell I'm pregnant right away. Like within 2 weeks, I know I'm pregnant. And I knew, and that's Mendocino in California, is by the sea.
Oh my gosh, again.
We were at Sea Ranch.
There is a powerful thing going on here.
Well, his name actually, now that I think about it, is the Welsh god of the sea.
Are you serious?
Mhm.
This is your youngest or your,
Uh-huh. My youngest.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going into something.
So the moose is one thing,
Okay, there's something I know. I think it's like the elementals were like, okay, we need to get together and talk about power of nature and the elementals and the sea
yeah, the sea. Ah, all right,
because
let's talk.
our old my youngest, so I have Elijah was like the water birth in Maui, and then the twins were also in were born in Maui. Oh, let's see, how can we even, so Isaiah is the youngest, and he is just really very sweet and kind. And I'm not sure, I guess. Okay, so the story is we had a Thai au pair that was pretty wild, like he would see spirits and stuff like that. And this is back in Colorado when Isaiah's a little bit older after we moved off Maui. And he went to a volleyball tournament where they were all Hawaiians. Like there was like a group of like six Hawaiians, big guys, like literally they invite him to dinner. Each one of the Hawaiians,
Yeah,
I don't know if some of them were Samoan, but there's, a whole bunch of mix in there sometimes. They would each get a turkey or a chicken. They would each get a fully cooked chicken and they would eat it all. And he was, just brought in like, hey, come on in, brother. And the grandmother was there too with them in the house. And and the grandmother's like, I would like to talk to you. And all the other, like, these are tall, big guys, and they're like, whoa, she wants to talk to you. You better go listen to her, kind of thing. Like, and he's like, okay, I'll go talk to her. And he had shown her the three kids that he was helping, our kids that he was watching. And she said, this boy here,
Mm,
he is connected with Pele. He is connected with Hawaii and the ocean. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he is one of the spirits. And he's like, yeah, he did. Actually, he was born in Hawaii. And
yeah,
so the elemental energy coming through in a person
yeah,
and how they connect, and also with the animal spirits.
yeah, yeah. I actually remember a past life with the son where it was very similar to the Avatar movie,
Oh.
where, and when he came home and said, "Oh, mom," and he saw Avatar, all the ways that you can watch Avatar when you're a kid, so 3D and what, and he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna know all the parts where you cry."
Oh.
And I remember, and it was near the ocean where they're climbing in the life that we were in, where we were climbing, we were in the trees, making our way through the trees, and the ocean was right there.
Hmm. So again,
Yeah, and that was like, whoa, but he knew every time I was going to cry during that movie, the first one. And he was right. He was right, because I knew he felt it himself, so he knew.
felt your connection in there, and
Yeah,
oh,
he knew.
well,
Yeah, yeah.
such a powerful connection. Oh my gosh.
So I was thinking about him when just thinking about the moose, and one of the things that this book said, um, maybe it wasn't this book, um, in relation to what you're talking about, the wisdom woven throughout the scenario is that creation constantly brings forth new ideas and further creation. So he's calling out, right? So you're talking about this creation,
Mhm.
and oh, this tell the world trait contains a joyfulness which only comes with a sense of accomplishment. There
Oh,
is no greater joy than a job well done. This trait is therefore not a seeking of approval, but rather an enjoyment of sharing because of the spontaneous explosion of joy that comes from the deepest part of one's being.
oh.
The wisdom woven throughout this scenario is that creation constantly brings forth new ideas and further creation. And I'm totally writing about all this stuff in my book right now. It's just so, this was just like so fitting. And Moose is telling us that joy should be shouted with pride.
Oh, yay.
The wisdom in doing this shouting is that the joy is catching. Like last night when we were at our gathering.
So laughing, so much laughter, silly songs and laughter and deep
And
sharing.
perversion and what have you, I'll bring it. It was so good. All that joy. In a sense, the bellowing is a way for all of us to lighten up and give ourselves or each other a well done.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
The
Moose,
acknowledgement. Good.
yeah. Moose medicine people have the ability to know when to use the gentleness of the deer and when to activate the stampede of buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They understand the balance between giving others orders to get things done and having a willingness to do things themselves. The wisdom of moose medicine is akin to the grandfather warrior
Hmm.
who has long since put away his war paint and now advising the young bucks to cool their blood. Moose medicine is often found in elders who have walked the good red road and have seen many things in their earth walk. Their joy lies in being the teachers of the children and in being the first ones to give encouragement. This is not to say that moose medicine people do not use their wisdom to warn as well as to give praise because they do. Moose medicine people know what to say, when to say it, and whom to and to whom. The elders are honored in tribal law for their gifts of wisdom, for their teaching abilities, and for the calmness they impart in counsel. If you are wise beyond your years, which my son was
Mm.
or is, I have the gift of um, they impart counsel, gift of moose medicine. Use this gift to encourage others to learn and grow. There are many facets to the wisdom of moose medicine. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I just want to share, when he was 9, he wrote this poem, and it's called North.
Oh my gosh, really? Wow.
This is unedited.
Okay.
North, south, east, west. Some of them are important, but north is the most, because north is forward. And that's where we have to go forward in life. So we must throw away our fears and cleanse our body for the future. Do not let your fear stop you. Renew the earth so other people may share what you have seen to north.
Love it.
That's moose medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's beautiful. I'm thrilled that you shared that.
Well, I was just thinking, oh yeah, yeah.
I
Anyway,
love I love how we have this spirituality and such incredible energy and power in nature around us, right? And then it reflects inwardly into the individual. That is very profound. And it's to have the tangible. Yes, I connect with that. You're seeing your son as that. You are getting the mirroring from the moose and the baby of job well done. Acknowledge that, you've been an amazing mama. You birthed and are a leader and have that quiet strength, you know. And it's interesting because there are different animals that will come into my life. Like it's not, I found that there are other ones that I've like had to go do research on. And it's worthy to go do that research for that time to get the message. Oh, I
yeah,
need to look into this more or acknowledge this more or embody it more. And
yeah,
it's a wonderfully grounded experience.
yeah. I also feel that our interactions in nature, where for example, when we come across animals and they know we're there, there's no, they have the radar out way before us. And how they are also participating in the reflection.
Hmm.
And
Yes, absolutely. And that could be really experienced with horses,
yeah. Mhm.
how they come in or come around you or how they start interacting. Because I think mentally we think, oh, they're just another being out there. They're not conscious. But once you
Oh,
start really interacting with them, they're very conscious. And, like the horses are like, they shift from like physical to non-physical. I was talking in a herd of horses with my cousin, and suddenly I was like, wait a minute, we are all one. We have a oneness herd energy that has just happened and like a completely elevated energetic level.
It's a coherence of the
Mm,
heart. I mean, there's even scientific healings and things like that that are studied. How horses bringing someone in, let's say, who has spasms, and the horses will bring their coherence together and set their heart rate, because their heart rate, and then the person stops shaking.
mm,
So if we take that, not just in that example, I mean, that's a pure scientific way of seeing it, but how we are in coherence and can bring in coherence um, in nature, through nature,
your nature, yeah.
and how they're examples of how we can operate. I mean, those horses, just by standing in their stillness and in their strength and their knowingness of them being them and what they're resonating with, and how they consciously are helping. They knew they have a job, you know. And some of them come in, I mean, because I've worked with some wild horses as well, and they just push up again, like pushed up, come and push up against me. I don't go to them, they come to me and push up against me. Huge, huge horses.
They're big.
And and where I push back with my body,
Yeah,
and how the communication happens so intuitively,
very intuitive, yes.
and where they hear me and I hear them. You know, I've had other horses who have been corralled, and where I've was brought to properties, and the horse was saying, I want to leave here, please let them know I want to go, I'm not in service, and the horse was completely this thoroughbred, beautiful, huge horse that the woman ended up selling, and was so happy afterwards because it needed to be of purpose, of use. And yeah, all of that, seeing beyond the separation of that they're just this and they only do this and they have no capacity, you know, they're
It really, I think it is part of a spiritual like awakening. And some people, like for me, it was like specifically with a dog when I was 18. It's like I'd been with horses and animals and da da da, enjoyed them, like already had like was talking to my cat when I was sleeping. But there was something, yeah, so I had like nightly conversations with my cat, and the cat would give me advice. And I warned my friend who stayed at my house when I was in college. I was like, I want to let you know she does talk to you when you go to bed. She's like, okay. Sure enough, I hear later, she's like, your cat did talk to me. I'm like, yep, she did. She was a smart, smart creature,
wisdom,
being of
wisdom.
light. Yeah, like totally helping me with my problems. But there's something like that clicked mentally where I got it even deeper with a dog. And I feel like I just really got like, wow, this whole animal's just talking and he's processing in his own experience. And then I just had more of an equality experience with them. Oh my gosh, they are conscious. And I am fully believing that, and forget this whole man is in control of the universe.
Yeah, you, I don't know if you follow anything or see any of those pets that are trained to press buttons to
Oh,
explain.
I have watched some of that. That is
There,
so
there's
cool.
cats and there's dogs, and they're like, even, oh, someone goes into the bathroom and they're like, you know, potty, da da da, and like calling them out, like,
Right.
or the washer's on or something they don't like, and they're like, telling them about it. And I think about that, what context comes to me is Helen Keller,
Oh.
because when humanity, their consciousness around mute and deaf
Um,
was, this is an unconscious being. This is just a wild thing that has no capacity for, you know, for expression, or except for anger and emotions and frustration, which is a wild beast, right? In that way of when you look at animals or feral or what have you. And um, thinking on those lines of seeing how they see us, and some are so purposeful with how I shouldn't say some, I mean, they're all purposeful, but in the way that they play it, how they play their role in families and in community.
yes. Yes. And just us acknowledging that is the deepening, right? It's a deepening in our awareness of energies and consciousness, and everything is consciousness. And we're all reflecting, right? That outer nature is reflecting us. It's giving us signs, images, and information for what we know and need to know in our journey, and us respecting that is opening the doors for greater insights
Yeah, yeah.
to the multiverse.
I love how you always bring that up. But
Well,
you and I mean, we're part of that, aren't we, already?
yeah, we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's such a great word. I'm so happy it's finally been come out
Free.
and people are just saying it, because, with the whole having awareness of multiple lives like I do and you do, like, completely change the identification of self. Like, self is no longer the name Alex Lovejoy, my age, my credentials, my sex, my physical body. It's like, no, none of all of that are just those are identifiers. But if I let them all go and start allowing in that, yes, I was in the jungle with my first true love of my life, and we were, climbing around trees and, getting, foraging, and then I was also off world and, an explorer to different realms and looking for minerals, very intellectual life. It's like really starting to grasp that we are, a soul with all of these different lifetime moments within the soul sphere is a really different level of being, and connecting us to the oneness that we all are, like the ocean.
Mhm, mhm. Like the ocean.
Like the ocean is a perfect representation of the oneness, or like the stars at night, like where people talk about looking. I've had multiple clients say this, they're looking up at the stars and they keep looking up at the stars, and then they have like a transformation in them, because who who wouldn't, seeing that expanse and contemplating the expanse and the multitude of stars and possibilities, it brings us beyond the mind and the identification. Go.
Yeah, yeah. The pure presence.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking about, well, lots of past lives rolled through me.
It's
But one of just that thing when uh, an animal and you are locked on. Okay, this is what they're. I, I was going to go one direction, but because you know how your pet or whatever can look at you and just you know like you're really seeing each other. You're really vibing. It's just like, oh no,
Mhm.
I know you're going to steal that kibble, or I know what you're ththinking.
Go
And
in there. Don't go there. Do not escape into the night. I'm closing the door.
and just how fun that can be. Like, I was at these people's house recently, and they had a lot of horses, and I knew that if I stood up on the and they were coming to me, and I was talking to them, and I could tell the ones who were just like had the attitude, and then the ones that wanted to be loved. And there were so many that I didn't, I was just going in and out with whom I felt was necessary. And one of them, I just knew, this huge horse. And I knew if I was stood, if I put my foot up on the thing, that the horse is going to come over. And it did. And I knew that it was going to bite my foot. And I knew, and they can hurt you.
Oh yeah,
They can hurt
absolutely.
you.
It can be ornery.
Oh yeah, they can be ornery. And just, but I knew he was doing it out of play. And it was and I knew this. It's like he and I were having this conversation because I'm going to come over and do that. And I was just like, yeah, I know you're going to come over and do that. And so he did. And then it's just like I slapped him on this, they're so big. You slap him on the side, and I just started laughing. And he did, like this certain expression, and goes, "Oh yeah, you got it." And it's,
Ah.
and it's just um I felt like it was an endearing moment, right? But not everyone can just go up there and have that experience. It's the understanding of the boundaries, and if you're not communicating with them and the signals are off, it could be a whole other thing.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, he was definitely showing his boundary thing, but I knew it. It was just the whole thing. I was just like, I'd already seen it in my mind. I was just like, oh, I know you're going to do this.
He's like, is she listening?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see if she's really
Yeah,
listening.
yeah.
And then there's the connection and that little like, getting in
There
there.
is a pure connection, and to me, I just started laughing. And then the other one, there was this one who was just lovey, just wanted me just to wrap my arm around the neck and have the head right next to my head, and just be completely receiving mode. And both of us were like having this reception.
Hmm,
Yeah.
that's
And I
all.
love that word, reception. We forget what it really means. It's not just a wedding. Reception, it's this other way of allowing this in.
Mhm.
And babbling.
Well, it's beautiful. I love that we're opening up, talking about the different connections, how it's, yeah, and it's all relevant. And, like with these big animals, it's very in your face. It's like, okay, this is very exciting that they're so close and, being respectful of boundaries.
Yeah.
And then just what's the message? And interestingly enough, with the baby moose and the mama, I had just spent a week or 2 weeks really with my mom, like helping her out with surgery and putting her house together, and just like, oh, isn't that interesting? I was fully supporting the mom,
Mhm.
who's older now, and just okay, just acknowledge that, support young and old, the connection, right?
Well,
The,
and the cycle.
the cycle too.
Mm,
Yeah.
I mean, the seasons of aging, and you have your own children, and how that will come back. There's that spiral again.
The the relationships shifting, and yeah, it's beautiful. And then just I love how the nature experiences will then flow into our lives. Like we are enriched
Mhm.
in our life now, and acknowledging, like seeing your son as the moose energy, and being able to really acknowledge his energetic gifts, like what he's coming in with or what he is going to do in this life.
Right, right. Yeah.
And acknowledging your own motherhood, especially when you're in the thick of it with an
Oh, yeah.
infant. And here is this powerfully strong animal that's also a mother, and just being able to be of that strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do the 24/7 thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Mm.
just sorry. I know that it's a good time to wrap it up, but it keeps on coming up, so I have to share it. There was this one summer I was in Arizona walking through the desert by myself. And I had this sense, and I looked over and there was a mountain lion.
Ah, ah. How far away are we talking here? Where was the mountain lion?
Okay, not that far. So I saw it before it saw me, or I'd like to think so.
Okay.
And it may have seen me, but then anyway, there was a dry riverbed,
Mm.
and so I was just enough above it to look taller, you know. And I don't, with all my outdoor skills and things like that, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Not look them in the eye, or look them in the eye? And it was just like, all of that went out, because all I could do or wanted to do was stare at it and talk to it. So I just talked to it.
Whoa.
I just talked to it because it was moving,
Mm.
and then it stopped.
Towards,
Or
away,
towards.
towards.
Yeah. It
Oh, God.
was pretty big. It was like 7, 8 feet.
They're all muscle.
They're they're
Like they're
very
thick.
they're very quick,
They're
very quick.
predators.
Yeah, they're predators. And all that week, um, I kept on having different cats. Like if it wasn't that, and I'll go back to that story. But there was another where I had a minx, minx,
Mhm.
lynx, a lynx,
Lynx. Okay.
lynx, not a minx, not a minx, a lynx. And
Oh,
it was literally where I was staying. It would catch a rabbit and then come and lean up against my patio, sliding glass patio, with the rabbit. And so I had all these, yeah, that whole time that I was there. And it was probably, I don't know if it was a week or 4 days or whatever. But the mountain lion, I just kept, it was just like I was talking to it and staring at it and saying, all right, you've got to go. You've got to turn around and head the other way, because you don't want to be in this force. And I said, you need to go. And I just was talking about it, talking with it and talking to it. And and it turned around, and then it came back around.
that's
And
smart. That's smart.
yeah, it turned and then it walked
Whew.
and came back around. So it really wasn't that far. When I think about it, the riverbed was not, hugely wide. I always say it was probably about, um, now that I'm looking at it, I used to have the numbers with me, like, oh, that was about a pool size. No, that was shorter. That was like a half pool size. So, so if you have a 25-yard pool, half of that would be, like 12, 12 yards. So, and I was in awe of it. And at the same time, I felt like I was one with it
Oh.
in that way of I understand that you are being you in this
Hmm.
environment.
Hmm.
And I respect you being you, but please respect me at this moment.
Right.
And it was definitely chow time for it because the time of day and everything. Yeah. And it was
Whew.
literally that exchange of honoring, knowing what the role it had, and I was honoring it and it was honoring me. It was crazy wonderful.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think I was there for Mother's Day on my own,
Really
now that I think of it.
interesting. Another mother, another
Yeah.
major
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah. And I felt it was a mother. I felt it was a female. Yeah. So there
Yeah,
was something
they're
there.
yeah, absolutely. And they're, they are around here up in the mountains. And I have to say that I can feel them. Like they I haven't seen any people say there are around right around here. I haven't seen any yet, but in the other place, it's just 15 minutes away where we lived. If I went out at night and the hairs on my neck would stand up,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, we are going back in the house. And then one time I was not listening to that and I was like, let's go on a walk, the cat and the dog. Let's do it. And both of them bailed on me. And I'm like, oh, I want to go for a walk. It's like, whatever, 9 at night in the summer. And I go down our long driveway and then I start going down the hill and there's another house, maybe 300 feet away or something like that. They had the light on and they
Mm,
also have the trees, they have trees in front, but they're cut like up to maybe 10 feet, something like that. And I could see the four legs of a moose, 6 feet, walking in front of the light of the garage. And I was like, I am heading home now. But the animals completely knew.
oh yeah.
They were not interested in going out. And because there was some big stalkers out there. But just that honoring it, right? Like, ooh, I feel the energy. No, I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not going out. It's not safe right now.
Yeah.
Trusting it.
Yeah.
Then when I didn't trust it and I pushed it, I had immediate feedback from nature.
Yeah.
It's not safe to go down that road. You'd be too close to the moose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, paying attention to our animal protectors and their instincts,
Hmm.
and also how, you know, you sensed also that instinctual, we have that animalistic instinctual survival in us as well, and honoring that, and and being brave to have the experience, right? As well, to go out and do what you wanted to experience.
I was like, that is plenty. I got my fill. I am good. I don't need to push into their energy anymore. I feel fine. Hmm.
Well, thank
Wonderful.
you so much for making this happen.
Yeah, thanks for being game and talking and sharing about the moose energy and motherhood and creation and yeah, so many levels in this in the spirit and nature world.
Well, it is Mother Nature.
Mother Nature. Oh my gosh, how interesting is that?
We could keep on talking forever because I have all these other images that are coming up. It's like, and then there's this story. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, really feel blessed and always appreciate the wisdom, the joy, the heart connection.
That's great. Great connecting with you, Lori. I love what you bring forth and just having this the sharing of experiences and
Mm. Yeah. We don't have the tribal circles in the same
mm,
way, so we have to create them. And even if we create this and there's a tribe that shows up to observe this and participate in it, I that would be lovely. Yeah.
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
blessings, lots of love.
Same here.
Great.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You
Okay.
too.
Moose out.
Moose out. Bye.
Bye.